Good morning, everybody. It's Jonathan Reich, a licensed CPA in the state of Louisiana. Today we're going to talk about how to apply for the Employee Retention Credit, ERC for short, and we're going to go through a step-by-step guide on how to apply to see if you qualify to potentially unlock some tax savings that you may not know that you may have been entitled to. So just sit back, follow along. This credit can be a little convoluted and complicated, but by the end of it, you should have a good grasp to see whether or not you can take the credit. Alright, in this video, we're going to go over understanding the ERC application deadlines, gathering the required documentation that you'll need to apply for the credit, how to calculate the ERC credit amount that you're entitled to, and then how to complete the IRS Form 941X. That sounds a little complicated. It's just a quarterly payroll tax return. If you've got employees, you're already filing those. The X just means it's amended for a prior period. We'll go over some of the best practices for the ERC application, common mistakes to avoid, submission guidelines, and then how to follow up with the IRS or your tax professional. So what exactly is the Employee Retention Credit? The Employee Retention Credit was a tax incentive created under the CARES Act to support businesses during the COVID-19 pandemic. It was launched by Congress in an attempt to essentially stymie businesses from shutting their doors and laying people off, because that creates a domino effect. So if everyone at this restaurant that I'm the manager of got laid off, those people no longer have income. They can no longer go and spend their income at other businesses, retail stores, food vendors, services, stuff like that. Therefore, those businesses then start to shutter and lay people off. And then those laid off people can't spend their income at other businesses, and creates this vicious cycle. So Congress introduced the ERC during the COVID-19 pandemic to basically stabilize the workforce and prevent that from happening. And it is a pretty generous credit. So we're going to need to see if any businesses who may have missed the opportunity to apply for that can qualify and then file those amended returns that I mentioned earlier. There could potentially be hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, so it's super important that you understand what it is and what's it for. Let's talk about understanding the ERC application deadlines. The deadlines for 2020 wages has unfortunately passed. April 15, 2024 was the last day to claim ERC for wages paid in 2020. And that's pretty typical. Normally there is a 3-year look-back period for payroll tax amendment forms. So there was an extension through 2024 to claim some ERC credits, and the same can be said for 2021 for that typical 3-year period, as April 15th, 2025 is the last day to claim ERC wages for wages paid in 2021. In order to claim the credit, you must have a timely submission to meet IRS statutes to obtain the funding. So now that you know the 2020 deadline has passed and you're getting ready to claim the credit for the 2021 period, what documents will you need? So obviously the first thing, as it's a payroll tax credit, is payroll records. You're going to collect detailed payroll records for the period that you're applying for to verify that you didn't let any employees go. And then you're going to need IRS Form 941. Which reports your quarterly payroll taxes and must include the relevant details. How much did you pay? What time period did you pay? Etc. Maybe the amount of employees and total comp during the period. Other things that you may need are going to be government orders or Paycheck Protection Program documentation, because that is one of the criteria to qualify, which is a separate topic. If you're watching this video, you probably already know that you qualify. This video is more so focused on how to apply for the credit. Those relevant government orders are just one of the ways that you can qualify for the credit, so it'd be a good idea to keep that on hand. Alright, we're on the big topic for today's video. What is the credit amount that I'm entitled to? So for 2020, which as a reminder, that period is already passed, businesses can claim up to 50% of qualified wages up to $10,000 per employee, resulting in a max credit of $5,000 per employee for the quarters that the credit was active. For 2021, the one that actually matters is up to 70% of qualified wages up to $10,000 per employee, leading to a potential maximum of $21,000. Both full-time and part-time employees' wages may qualify, but the amount reported should reflect the specific provisions set forth by the IRS. So let's talk about IRS Form 941X. This is actually the form that you'll use to apply for the credit. A Form 941 is just a quarterly payroll tax report form, and the X just means that it's being amended for whatever quarter you're filing the return for. It's a pretty standard form. That X just means we're doing a look back, essentially. The primary sections that we're going to focus on are lines 1A, 1B. Those are the calculations for eligible wages. Other key lines are going to be lines 18A, which is the sum of all qualified wages. Line 23 on the form is going to talk about the non-refundable portion of the ERC, and line 26 is going to be the refundable portion of the ERC. And then on part 5 of your 941X, it's going to ask for an explanation on why it needed to be amended, and you can simply just say something along the lines of claiming the employee retention credit for wages paid in X time period. And then once you've got all of that, you're going to review and sign the form, and then you're going to mail the completed form to the IRS. Unfortunately, these forms must be mailed now, as the electronic filing period has passed due to the amount of time from when the credit was originally issued. Alright, let's talk about some of the best practices for the ERC application. The first and easiest is use a reliable software. Don't go online and find some sketchy 99-cent website who promises you $1 million return. Just give them all your information. Try not to do that. There's a lot of scams out there, a lot of companies promising things that are too good to be true, and that's because it is. Use a reputable software like Intuit, Drake, Thomson Reuters. Big name brands in the accounting world are always going to be a good safe bet to go to. Or just do something as simple as downloading the form from the IRS's website, printing it out, populating it, and sending it through, or copying it to your computer, using Adobe Acrobat, populating it, printing it out, and then mailing it out. Because remember, this can't be electronically filed. Ultimately, you're going to have to print the form and then mail it to the IRS. Other good practices are to maintain meticulous records. That goes without saying. For anything in the accounting world, you're going to want to keep thorough records of all employee wages, the hours worked, any relevant documents, any mandated shutdowns, stuff like that. And then just stay up to date, stay informed, see what's going on. It's a good idea to keep your ear to the ground on latest IRS guidelines and any updates regarding the credit that you may be applying for. Alright guys, we're rounding up here. Some of the common mistakes to avoid when applying for the ERC credit. Obviously, check your math. Make sure there are no incorrect calculations. A lot of businesses either intentionally or accidentally miscalculated their eligible wages or numbers of employees, leading to claim rejections, slower processing times, audits, things that nobody wants. So just make sure your numbers are true and that they actually tie out. Also, don't submit an ERC app that doesn't have all the necessary documents. That's going to delay. The IRS may have to reach out to you. They're never quick. It's always by mail, or they may just deny your application altogether. The final thing is, don't miss a deadline. The deadline for 2021 is quickly approaching, April 15th, 2025. If you're not paying attention to the application deadlines, you're going to miss those opportunities. So those are some very low-hanging fruit, should be super easy to do. Just do your due diligence. The final steps, review your application. You should have done that whenever you were ticking in time. Make sure you didn't have any miscalculations or errors. Ensure everything is submitted correct and complete. You're going to want to maintain communication with the IRS or your tax professional if you don't feel comfortable applying for the credit on your own. You can do that by using their online portal primarily, or if you are lucky, you can call through to the IRS and actually talk to someone about your case, and they'll be able to give you updates. Although I do want to warn you, there's typically a 2-hour wait time to talk to the IRS, especially this time of year, tax season. And then the final thing is get any additional documents that the IRS may request. Let's say you sent it in, you forgot, just maybe hang tight and see if they say, hey, do you have this document or this document? They may patch on the back and send the funds your way, or they may just say, hey, do you have that extra spreadsheet that we need? And then you can go ahead and send it through. But if you have everything, you're maintaining communication, you're going to know what they need, and and so it should be a pretty smooth process once everything's been submitted. Alright, if you're thinking all this sounds complicated, it's because it can be, a little bit, sometimes, depending on your circumstances. So in instances like this, I would recommend to reach out to a third-party firm. IRS Plus is one that I have used in the past, and they're certainly able to help navigate these difficult waters. They stand out as the premier firm for expedited processing of ERC applications. They have a ton of specialized expertise and are very committed to compliance. They want to make sure that they're not labeled as one of those ERC mills who may land a business under scrutiny or audit later on. So they make sure to do it right the first time. All claims with IRS Plus are meticulously prepared and submitted in accordance with IRS guidelines, meaning everything is ticked, tied, reconciled, and that there's not going to be summation or small oversights. Every time I've worked with them, they've been extremely competent. The dedication to each and every return minimizes those risks of audits or delays, providing peace of mind to business owners who need those funds, especially now in this challenging economic climate that we're in. Alright guys, let's go ahead and round up how to apply for the ERC credit using Form 941X. First, you're going to make sure that you're actually eligible, that you met the criteria based on business size and your operational status. Were you mandated to shut down? Do you have qualified wages? Did you suffer a lack of revenue due to the COVID pandemic? Okay, and then once you have that, you want to make sure that you're hitting your deadlines. Like I said earlier, the 2020 ERC window has already passed, but you can still claim for the 2021 period. Make sure to get those in soon, though, as that deadline is quickly approaching. And then just make sure that all your numbers, your payroll wages, the numbers of employees, that they're all accurate, that they all tie. If you are accurate, truthful, forthcoming, these are funds that you're entitled to. And so when you package this up and send this to Uncle Sam, they'll take a look and make sure that everything matches what they have on file, and then you'll be receiving your credit anywhere from 3 to 9 months after the fact. And then you can take that money and invest it back in your business or do whatever you guys need to do with it. Thanks for watching.